Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome. Welcome to the market close. A green day. Who? Who thought we were going to get a green day today? I thought the fear was going to drive us deep into the red, but no, we got a green day. But keep in mind, those reciprocal tariffs are being announced. At the bell, at the bell. That's when Trump is going to be announcing them. So we have no idea what this day is going to look like. We know it started green. It could have a very interesting ending for sure. And we're gonna peek in. We're gonna peek in and see if we can see what is going on with that. Of course, after the bell. After the bell for sure. Holy banana bread. Okay. Let's start by jumping right on in into the chart. Now, just give me a second. I was looking over at the chart and I'm like, what am I looking at? Where is my... Oh, there it is. Okay. I just had my windows in the wrong position, but here we go. All right. Looking at the chart. And guys, I'm going to very quickly just drag this to the beginning because that's where it's supposed to be. We got a green day. We got a green month. Everything is looking pretty darn spiffy. We got a spiffy day. I have moved the blue line, so we are we're cruising to a green month. Oh boy. Tomorrow, tomorrow I have a feeling that we will be below that line. It's a strong feeling. It's a strong feeling. But for today, TSX in the green, we're up 0.74% with, of course, 13 minutes until the bell. The S&P 500, same, up in green territory, 0.69 above. Gotta love that. NASDAQ 0.54 above. So, it's doing good. It's doing good. The Dow Jones also in the green, up 0.61%. Gold's in the green today, up 0.4. Silver's up 0.45. WTI having a good day, up a full 1.17%. Bitcoin is up almost, 1.5%. Ethereum up a tiny, tiny bit. So definitely looking like we have a pretty good day. Okay, let's take a look at that heat map. And I'm liking what I'm seeing over here. We're seeing some strength. We're seeing the banks are up. TD up 1.1. BMO up 1.27. Look at this. Manulife Financial, they're up. Shopify's up. If Vic is in the house, his Constellation Software, it is up. So that's looking pretty good. Dollarama having a good day. Loblaws, CP, CNR. Oh boy, everybody's having a good day. Well, not everybody. Bell is down 4.34%. TELUS is down. Rogers kind of flat. Now, I don't know who this is. Let's take a look. Oh, Molson Coors. Molson Coors is down 9.94%. Guess not a good day if you're investing in the beer drinkers. What can I say? Switching south of the border, everything's looking pretty good. Looks like the Magnificent Seven are all up. I see Tesla up 4.3, Amazon up, Nvidia kind of flat, but they're technically up. Apple kind of the same situation, same as Microsoft. Oh, wait a minute. No, Google and Meta, they're both down a tiny, tiny bit. Not a lot, but definitely a tiny, tiny bit. So yeah, it's kind of a mixed looking market, but mostly green. Gotta like it. Heading over to crypto. And we, of course, have Bitcoin. Bitcoin up at the top, 1.52. Solana having a good day as well. Cardano, for the most part, it's green. Of course, there's about 15,000 different altcoins out there. And I like to grab the opposite color of what the market is doing. Let's take a look at some crap coin that I've never heard of before. We'll grab this one here. Open Meta City. So Open Meta City, it is, well, hey, look, it's worth 5 cents. Well, 5.6 cents. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it does. I've never been to Open Meta City. Yeah, I don't know. These are coins, once again, I call them crap coins. You're probably going to lose money on them. You're not going to make anything. So stay away from them. If you want to dive into crypto, avoid coins like Open, Meta, City. Stick to your big coins. Stick to your Bitcoins, your Ethereum, and heck, even your Dogecoin at this stage of the game. All right. All right. We got through the charts. We got through the charts. Let's hit the chat. Starting off with Jonathan, am I late for reciprocal tariffs? Oh boy, you're not late at all. We got about 9 minutes until tariffs. 9 minutes. All right. Bismarcky says, happy Wednesday, all. Nasty weather in the Toronto area. Snow, freezing rain. Oh, I know. What's going on? You know, there's still a little bit of snow on the lawn here, and I know this morning it was like a -10 wind chill. So I'm like, this is not April. Give me April weather, please. No snow and freezing rain here today, but we are going to get rain, a bunch of rain coming up soon enough in the week. Rory says, good afternoon. Hello, Rory. Good to see you. Finbar, good afternoon. Yeah, what a surprise of a day. I know. Oh, and since we're early in the stream, if you guys want a Friday stream for supers or gifted or things like that, we'll do that. All right. And Jonathan is predicting maybe a sell-off in the after hours. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, that could very well be the case. Depending on how quick, like, apparently the press conference is beginning in the Rose Garden at the at 4 a.m. Eastern, or sorry, 4 p.m. Eastern. Nobody's going to show up at 4 a.m. But yeah, maybe we'll see a little bit of a sell-off as well. Yeah, and Finbar is saying, yeah, tomorrow might be a different story. I think tomorrow's going to be absolutely a different story. Rory says, I have 2 limit orders ready to go for ETFs. I would not blame you. Moonlight says, glad you're live. Okay. When I was doing the news, when I was doing the heat maps, I saw this out of the corner of my eyes, and I thought it said, glad you're alive. And I was thinking to myself, what? Alive? Am I not supposed to be alive? So yeah, I was kind of funny, but no, glad you're live. Okay, awesome. Yes, I'm glad to be here as well. Oh, we got Mary in the house with a hi, and that means, guys, Mary, she's the unofficial captain of the like button. So I'm gonna have a sip of coffee here in this handy dandy buy the dip, sip the gains cup. I'm going to have a sip of this here while you guys are hitting that like button. Oh, very good. Very, very, very good. Ian says, felt like I was missing out on the fun, so I bought BCE yesterday. Yeah, the fun. You're now a little bit poorer, but I understand. Only 10 shares. Okay. Mario says, good afternoon, everyone. Ferris says, hello. Surprisingly, U.S. stock is bull today. I know. And Moonlight says the press would even, or he made them wait. They might. Nothing in the state surprises me anymore. And look at this. We got the first super coming in, and it's from, of course, the wonderful Mary. So Mary is now our goat. So here, cute little goat. I probably should make a couple more goats. I like the goat animation, so we definitely want to do that. Mario is, I'm glad you're alive. Okay, great. Me too. Yeah. My demise. The rumors of my demise were well exaggerated, I guess. Mario says, like button pressed. Thank you, Mary. There we go. You see, Mary's paying the dividends. She's paying the dividends there. Ricardo says, good afternoon. Anybody been shuffling their holdings in this whole macro uncertainty? Well, I mean, in the challenge, if you watched the video, the update video yesterday, I have been moving a few things around. I've been selling a few things. Like, I actually sold out of my Brookfield Asset Management. I love Brookfield Asset Management, by the way. One of my favorite stocks. But, they were well deep into the profits. And I have a feeling that I'm going to be able to get them at a much cheaper price once we start moving towards that recession. So I was just like, they're going to fund some of my other defensive plays. So yeah, I'm making some shuffles. I'm making some shuffles, and we have just received a tariff from the banana bread company, and that of course makes the banana bread company our new goat. And there we go. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Now, those of you who are wondering, where's the little countdown thingy up top? It's because we hit it. We did the swag thing last month. We hit it on Sunday. So what is going to happen, guys, is this Sunday coming up on this week, we're going to do a swag. We're going to do that swag giveaway. So if you're there, and I will tell you the rough time that I'm going to do it, about an hour into the stream. So roughly 5 p.m. Eastern. We're going to do it. I'm going to use one of them little pickers that picks from the comments. So be there and make one post, just one post during that hour, whether it be, hi, I'm just posting so I have a chance to win. I think you can still win if you don't post, but I would post just to be on the safe side. And then what'll happen is I'll talk with that person who wins. We'll find out what they want. I will get the code for them because what I do is I'll pay for it on my end, and I'll just give them a code. They take the code. It goes straight to the company that provides the merch, and then all they have to do is put in their shipping address, and bang, boom, they got their merch. Well, it takes time to get to them, but other than that, yeah. So that's going on Sunday. Guys, we got about 3 minutes to the bell. 3 minutes to the tariffs as well. Maybe today, instead of a bell, we should all just scream. Scream in frustration at 4 o'clock. Moonlight says, I'm trying to decide if I should buy the Mag 7 individually or as mags, or just go in an index fund. What do you like for a 15-year time frame? That's a good question. One of the things I like, and I'm coming around, like I've always been mostly pure stock. Like I love stocks. I love individual stocks, but I'm really, really, really coming around to the fact that unless you want to be playing and monitoring everybody all the time, ETFs make a lot of sense. And when it comes, and what I would recommend is if you are going to look at hitting the Magnificent Seven with an ETF, and this is more of a long-term, 15-year time frame, you want to, first of all, you want a passive index. And the reason you want passive is because lower fees. So a passive index, they don't have to do a lot of work. They don't have to, they rebalance usually quarterly. And you can get some pretty good ones with a passive fee. You can also get ones that if you're looking to get a little bit of income, you could certainly do that as well. So yeah, we can certainly, after the bell, if you want, we can certainly look at a few different tech ETFs. So, that's always not too shabby. Ricardo. Cowboy says afternoon all, while Ricardo says I added more ESP. So Eastbay Manufacturing, since they pay a nice 25-cent dividend per quarter and solid financials. Nice. I always love it when I see ESP. Somebody says, I added more ESP. And I'm like, okay, what am I thinking? Anyway, Luke says afternoon all. Okay, guys, we've got less than a minute to the bell. So if you are wearing headphones and you don't like noise, now's your time to turn down the headphones, or you can take about we got about 30 seconds to the bell. I just don't want to hurt anybody's poor ears. Rory says 230 points today, minus 800 tomorrow. That's a possibility. It's a possibility. Although sometimes I gotta say, the Trump era market sometimes confuses everybody. So, we could even see a green market tomorrow. We're not going to, but you never know with the way things have been going. All right, here we go, guys. The market has closed and reciprocal tariffs are apparently dropping. We'll check in. We'll check in as we move along. But right now, I really want to read this post from Prairie. And it's late to the stream, but still made it here to listen in as I work. Good afternoon, everyone. Well, good afternoon, Prairie. I hope you're having a good day for sure. All right. Okay. Let's see. Up next, we got Bill. Let's see. I think if you just want Mag 7, then individually gives you the chance to buy each on their dips. Well, you see, and that's another option as well. It really boils down to the amount of time that you want to put into it. So if, for example, if you're trying to make sure you have exposure to all 7, that's a little bit of work. And you're playing, you're going to look. Now, mind you, most of their fundamentals are pretty good. So that's a plus. It's not like you've got a bunch of dodgy companies in there. You've got basically blue chip. So yeah, you could go that way as well. But the nice thing about an ETF is that you're probably not going to just get the Magnificent 7. You're going to get a lot of up and coming stocks in there too. And sometimes you get a stock that absolutely explodes, and you can benefit with that ETF that you may not have thought to buy that stock. Whereas the fund manager may be like, yeah, that's a good one. Let's grab that one, see what happens. So just something to think about. Ricardo says, yeah, I scooped me 100 shares at 305 of BBAI, hoping for a nice rebound in tech. I am hoping for a rebound in tech. Like, I know the markets and all of the economists feel like, we're all heading into recession. I would love, don't get me wrong. I would love if they're all wrong, but I also kind of want the recession too. And it's basically the reason I want it is only because there's going to be so many buying opportunities. So in a recession, in a bear market as well, these are those opportunities that you can really get some of those rock bottom prices. And then when they recover, holy banana bread. It's just fantastic. So, that is kind of one of the reasons that I kind of hope to get it, because it'd be great to start hitting some stuff at some low prices. But at the same time, I think for new investors, sometimes they see the red and it keeps going and going and going. And people can lose, they sort of lose their will to invest. They're like, oh my God, it's never going to end. How am I ever going to make a profit out of this? And that's what will happen. But once you've been through a couple of bear markets, then it's just like, all right, bear market, time to make some money. That's the attitude that you kind of learn, and experience will bring that as well. Stephen says, senators flipped on legislation to go easy on tariffs, but will have to go through the House. And in the end, Trump has veto power. So it is merely a protest vote. 4 Repub senators. Oh, did they actually flip? Republican senators. Oh, good. I knew that they were trying to get a few people to happen. And I know that, I think your next comment mentions this as well. I know that they really wanted them to go a little bit lighter on Canada. And that makes sense. If you look at there's a lot of states that they rely on their trade with Canada big time. So there's a lot of states that are like, we do not want this. Let's not do this to Canada. So yeah, this is good to see that even if Trump vetoes it, it's still good that at least, it makes us feel a little bit better, I think, as Canadians, because we know it's not the US that's doing this to us. It's one person. It's one person. And, what can we say? All right. Ricardo says, what are your thoughts on MSTY for income dividend? I keep looking at the dividend per month and wow, I'm shocked. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure you're talking about the Yield Max one. So the Yield Max, the funny thing is they don't even hold any strategy. It's what's called a synthetic covered call. So they're basically writing longs and shorts. So they're covering both ends, but they don't actually hold it, which is kind of an interesting thing. They've been doing well. I mean, the amount of money that they have been pulling back has done well. The only caution I have is if the US economy moves into a recession. We have not seen how these synthetic funds will how they will do in a bear market. So we don't know yet how they will do. I would watch them, but I think conceivably, they could be okay. They could be okay, but I would still watch them just because they're not tested. That would be the only concern that I would really have with MSTY in that case. We got Bleak in the house with a hi all. Oh, and now before we go any further, I'm just gonna pull up the we'll pull up the Globe and Mail here. Let me just grab bang. All right, and whoops, let's go to the news. Globe and Mail, they've got a live update tracker. All right, for Liberation Day, which is this way here, we can sort of take a look. I thought about I thought about why don't I just bring up the video of the conference, but honestly, it's just going to be Trump going off about whatever, and we can get the updates here. I'd rather talk to you guys than just sit here while we just watch something together. All right. All right, let's get back here to the chat. Vic says, not first, but early to hit like for sure. Have a sip while everyone hits like. Okay, I like your idea. I'm gonna sip the dip. I'm gonna buy the dip, sip the gains. There we go. Oh, so good, so good. Moonlight says, agree on your feelings about a recession. Yeah, absolutely. Hello, all Candace. Should your sign be green? Yes. Yes, it should. All right. Give me a second here. All right, there you go. Whoops. The reason it was white is just before coming onto the live stream, I filmed a short. So I filmed a short, and I had it white on the short, even though in the short you can't actually see the sign. Hilarious. But I had it white for that, and I forgot to turn it back to the green. But thank you, Roku. Roku gets a no prize. A no prize. I don't know if you guys know what a no prize is. It's kind of like it's an acknowledgement that doesn't come with anything. Yeah, one of those things. Actually, where you used to see no prizes, we're slight tangent here. The olden days with comic books, like the 70s, 80s. If you pointed at a continuity error in the comic book, usually the writers of the book would say, yeah, you've just earned a no prize for that. And thank you for pointing it out. So what can I say? All right. Rory says, yeah, 273 in the green. Let's see, what nothing to do with recession. Have kids who are going flat out and just scraping by with good jobs. Yeah. Okay. And that's the other side. That's the other side. And this is why, that's kind of why I sort of said, as an investor, the investor side of me is like, yeah, bring it on. Let me make some money. Everybody, the other side of me is like, oh God. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to see the economy falter. Because, I can make money in a good economy as well. And I don't want to see people suffer. And that's kind of this whole thing. Like, Trump is playing games that are going to hurt people. A lot of regular people, and not just in Canada, both sides of the border. He's just, it's not right. It's really not right to be messing up things like this. And here's the thing. There's no need. There's really no need. There's so many better things that Canada and the US could be doing that could help both economies. So yeah, there's no need for this at all. All right. Tom says, I was overweight in ENCL, so decided to trim 40K at a very small loss, only to watch it go higher than what I paid. Oh, well, more ammo for tomorrow. Yeah. No, oil had a pretty good day. Oil had a pretty good day today. Yeah, I was watching that. So what can I say? Vic says, watching Trump live, gripping. Yeah. I actually thought, and I mentioned this to Jill yesterday. I was like, how should he present this? Because, if he has a number for each country, it's almost like he should do it like an awards show. It's like, all right. And up for this 25% tariff is, well, here are the runner up is Canada. But this one's going to Finland. And then Canada could win the next one. Maybe it's 50%. Who knows? Oh boy. Cowboy says, let's see. Carnage is two will not rid us of Bill C9, the no pipelines law. Ah, okay. Or sorry, C69. There we go. Yeah, I mean, we're going to get an east-west solution for sure. I think we are. Now, mind you, the big question comes down to Quebec. Will Quebec allow that pipeline to go through? Right now, it's not a yes. It's not a yes right now, and I know that the leader of the bloc, he was saying that it's going to absolutely be a no. So that comes back to let's build a nice port in in Kingston and use the St. Lawrence. We're gonna, I don't like the idea. I don't like Carney's idea of Churchill at all. I don't like that at all. And we still have to figure out who's going to win this election, but whoever wins, I still think we're gonna get some kind of movement in that direction. Now, I think we have to find every possible conceivable way to make it happen faster. I like the idea. I know the energy companies even put forth saying we should declare it as an energy emergency so that we can, cut through red tape. I'm all for cutting through red tape. I do not like red tape. I've famously, there's many times in my life where I've decided to not do something based on the amount of hoops I had to jump through because I don't like jumping through hoops. But yeah, understandable. All right. Rory says, watched HOD consolidate. Inventories could rise. OPEC production increases in April, May, looking to get in at 570 right now. Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to sort of watch where things are going to go next. And there's a lot. There's a lot of potential black swan events on the horizon. And it was kind of interesting at one point when it looked like we could possibly get into the war in Ukraine. Nope, no, it's not looking good. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting. I can't wait to watch. I can't wait to watch and see what's going to happen. I think at least for this week, even through the turmoil that could be coming, I think oil might still be a sort of a little bit of a, I don't want to call, well, maybe a bit of a safe haven. I think gold will do well this week. So that's another thing. Now, a lot of people are, like a lot of banks are actually predicting gold to even make it up as high as 3,300 an ounce by the end of the year. So gold could be very, very interesting for sure. All right. Isaac says, telecom stocks continue to fall. I'm in the red about 40% on each of the three stocks. I know. And it's really weird, but I have noticed that when we're having a green day, the telecoms are deep in the red. They're sort of like doing the opposite of what the market is doing right now. And it is hard. It is hard to, it's hard right now to be holding telecoms because they're just not doing things very good. Vic said, let's see, BCE is still at 31. Yeah. I mean, it feels like it should be. It feels like it should be. But what can I say? What can I say? Did you get a haircut? Dead ends trimmed. That's about it. But yeah, hey, wow. I mean, hey, you noticed. Congratulations. That's awesome. No, yeah, it's just some dead end trim. Let's see. My portfolio certainly got one. Oh boy, that's hilarious. What do you think of semiconductors? Semiconductors, I mean, they're huge. I mean, first of all, when it comes to a lot of your chip manufacturers, so TSM, NVIDIA, I think that they're going to be high in demand. Like, AI is not going to stop. Even if we move into the recession, AI is not going to sort of back down. It is going to continue moving forward. And I think that's going to be interesting. So if you look at the last bear market, So the last bear market we had, tech led the way into the bear market. And, it was a pretty rough time for tech. But I think this one will be different. Tech will definitely be impacted by the bear market. And tech's going to go down in the bear market. But I think there's going to be some opportunity for some very interesting bull bounce, or sort of like, well, you can call it a dead cat bounce if you want, but I think there's going to be some really interesting bull movements within that bear market for tech. So I'm kind of interesting watching tech, but at the same time, if tech is down, I would be okay. I'm going to DCA into some tech. Like, I think right now, I have to sort of decide exactly what my move is going to be, but I will be DCAing through tech through the recession, because I think tech is going to be very strong on the other side. And as I said, we might have some interesting movements within that bear market. So it could be really interesting. Let's see. Cowboy says, gas price down 16 cents here in Alberta. Should help the budget be better when completely gone. Yes. So, of course, April 1st, the carbon tax, instead of doubling, it went off of gas. So I think a lot of people saw some pretty big drops at the pumps this week. So nothing wrong with that. I'm pretty happy with that. Rory says, Candace, are you going to go long on the swing with Air Canada around $13? Now, I got a video that's going to, well, tomorrow, if you're a channel member, you can watch it tomorrow. But everybody else, you can watch it on Friday. We're going to look at Air Canada. It's kind of a double video. I'm going to sort of just break down my, well, I don't want to say it's like this normal length, but I'm breaking down the swing trade that I have started with Air Canada and how I'm going to do it. And we'll do a little bit of a deep dive into Air Canada too at the same time. So, but to answer your question, and actually, I will buy Air Canada monthly, as long as it's under $17. That is where I have I've put my lower limit. So if it's under 17, it's going into the portfolio, because there's no reason why on the other side of all of this, Air Canada won't rebound once again. And I kind of break it down in the video. So I would definitely recommend just sort of checking that out. But yeah, I'm absolutely in. I am in for sure. All right, where is Cowboy at? I'm thinking Alberta, but I could be wrong. Bill says tech starting to pop after hours. Ooh, interesting. Let's take a gander. Why not? All right. First of all, I'll just refresh this here. See if we got anything on our comments here. Let's see. Trump to roll out new tariffs on Liberation Day. Do we have anything here? Just some stuff on fentanyl. Let's see. U.S. increasing supply of domestic uranium, but critics warn tariffs on Canadian product could undermine energy security. All right. Well, apparently it's all happening right now, but we'll have to see. First of all, though, this is what we wanted to look at. Let's actually just jump into NVIDIA and take a look and see where they are. So yeah, look at this. NVIDIA is up to 112.51. So it's a little bit of a jump here. Do I have any other tech in here? Do I? Well, I got MicroStrategy. Johnson & Johnson. There's Johnson. Nah, they're not tech. Let me just add Microsoft. I'm going to add Microsoft here as well. Just give me a second here. MSFT. Here we go. Microsoft. Bang. Let's take a look at them as well. All right. And Microsoft. Yeah, pretty much the same thing. They're up 386.40. So that's not too shabby. Not too shabby at all. All right. Rory says gas is 131.90 here, but what was it before? That's the question. What was it before? Because I have no clue what the price of gas is. I don't have a car, so if I had a car, I would probably know exactly what the price of gas is. East Central Alberta. Okay. I'm just trying to think. I'm thinking like Brooks, that type of area. I remember I drove through, well, I wasn't driving, but we went through Brooks once, and to me, the thing that stuck out in Brooks is we actually passed a bar. It was called Garth's in Brooks, and I was like, that's kind of clever. So anyway, let's see. Vic says, I drive up and down Alberta. Nice. Gravel trucking, hot shot, and side gigs. Anything to make a buck, then invest. Not too shabby. Let's see. Vic Gill, have to do all you can. All right, and another tariff is finally dropped. The tariffs are dropping, and yeah, this one here is from the Banana Bread Company, so it's a good type of tariff, making them, well, they already were the goat. They're maintaining their goat ship. So there we go. Congratulations. Well, not congratulations. Thank you. Thank you is the right word. Thank you very much, Banana Bread Company. Always appreciate you. Always, always, always. Rory says, okay, 149, 149.90. Okay, that's quite the drop. That's a good drop for sure. Very nice, very nice. So what can I say? That is kind of cool. All right, I want to see some tariffs. I want to actually see some real tariffs. I'm gonna pull this back up here. Let's head back into our live updates, and well, you know what, guys? Let's just take a look and see what is happening here. I think I need to. All right. What is happening? Whoops. If I do that, give me a second here. I have to make sure I'm not going to give you guys any feedback. All right. There we go. Let me mute that tab. All right. Now, all right, I'm going to bring this up. We're going to peek in. I said we weren't gonna, but let's peek in. Let's see what's going on. Now, can you guys hear this? That's what I want to know. Are you able to hear it?
All over the world, we pay for their military. We pay for everything they have to pay. And then when you want to cut back a little bit, they get upset that you're not taking care of them any longer. But we have to take care of our people, and we're going to take care of our people first.
Now, I might have to turn this towards here. Let me know if you guys can hear Trump.
And today we're standing up for the American worker, and
not very well.
Putting America first.
Let me try something here.
In Sleepy Joe Biden's last year in office, the United States hemorrhaged 100,000 manufacturing jobs, and the number was going through the roof at levels never seen before. And our trade deficit reached a record $1.2 trillion.
Better. Yeah, it's I got the mic.
Since the beginning of NAFTA, the worst trade deal.
I turned the mic towards it. So that should help.
Never be able to get it out. We had to get approval from Congress to get it terminated. We had to live with that deal. It was the worst trade deal ever made by far. But since the very beginning of NAFTA, our country lost 90,000 factories. Think of what that is, 90,000. Think about putting a map up and putting.
That's a lot of factories.
You wouldn't have enough room. 90,000. I said, is that possible? We had it checked 4 different times, and it was actually somewhat higher than that. And 5 million manufacturing jobs were lost while racking up trade deficits of 19.
I kind of want them to list all 90,000.
The worst trade deal ever made. As a result of these gigantic losses, foreign nations now
I don't know if I can make that bigger.
$6 trillion more of American assets than Americans. Think of this, than the Americans own of their own foreign assets or other foreign assets. The United States can no longer produce enough antibiotics.
I tried to make it bigger, but then it lost the thing.
Problem. We have to go to foreign countries to treat our sick. If anything ever happened from a war standpoint, we wouldn't be able to do it. We import virtually all of our computers, phones, televisions, and electronics. We used to dominate the field, and now we import it all from different countries. A single shipyard in China now produces more ships every year than all of the American shipyards combined. Think of that. And it was a business that we used to dominate. We used to dominate it totally.
Oh, well.
In short, chronic trade deficits are no longer merely an economic problem. They're a national emergency that threatens our security. and our very way of life. It's a very great threat to our country. And for these reasons, starting tomorrow, the United States will implement reciprocal tariffs on other nations. It's been a long time since we
yeah,
even
just
thought of that.
I'm hoping he gets to the point here.
About it for many decades, and you see what's happened. For nations that treat us badly, we will calculate the combined rate of all their tariffs, non-monetary barriers, and other forms of cheating. And because we are being very kind,
maybe.
We're kind people.
Maybe.
Very kind. You're not so kind when you got ripped off with your salaries. My auto worker friends and my Teamster friends and all of the unions that typically voted Democrat, they're not voting Democrat anymore because worker, whether union or non-worker, they're for the Republicans now. That's what happened. But we will charge them approximately half of what they are and have been charging us. So the tariffs will be not a full reciprocal. I could have done that, yes, but it would have been tough for a lot of countries who didn't want to do that. I'd like to see the chart if you have it. Could you bring it up, Howard? This is our great Secretary of Commerce, Howard Lutnick. So if you look at that, China, first row, China, 67%. That's tariffs charged to the USA, including currency manipulation and trade barriers. So 67%, I think you can, for the most part, see it. Those with good eyes, with bad eyes. We didn't want to bring, it's very windy out here. We didn't want to bring out the big charts because it had no chance of standing.
Holy cow. Of course, Canada's the part behind his podium.
67%, so we're going to be charging a discounted reciprocal tariff of 34%. I think, in other words, they charge us, we charge them less. So how can anybody be upset? They will be because we never charge anybody anything. But now we're going to charge.
Let's see
European Union, they're very tough, very, very tough traders. You think of European Union, very friendly. They rip us off. It's so sad to see. It's so pathetic.
If he had done it alphabetical, we'd be able to see what we're getting.
We charge them 20%, so we're charging them essentially half. Vietnam, great negotiators, great people. They like me, I like them. The problem is they charge us 90%. We're going to charge them 46% tariff.
I know.
Taiwan.
It's like, what's going on? It's like Trump getting to the point. I mean, he can take a concept that takes 10 minutes to explain, and he can turn it into a 3-hour press conference.
We're going to end up with almost 40%. Lee Zeldin's working to get their approvals. And it's an amazing company. Mr. Wei, of one of the great companies of the world, actually, they're coming in from Taiwan, and they're going to build one of the biggest plants in the world, maybe the biggest for that. But 64%, we're going to charge them 32%. Japan, very, very tough, great people. And again, I don't blame the people for doing it. I think they're very smart in doing it. I blame the people that sat right in that Oval Office, right over there, right behind the Resolute desk or whichever desk they chose. Japan, 46%. They would charge us 46%, and much higher for certain items like cars, little items like cars. 46%, we're charging them.
Well, the UK is only getting a 10% reciprocal tariff.
Very, very tough.
But my understanding is any kind of other tariffs that come out, this will just be in addition to it. So, well,
be treating us right. They charge us 52%. You have to understand, we charge them for years and years and decades. And it was only 7 years ago when I came in. We started with China charging. We took in hundreds of billions of dollars from China in tariffs, and they understood. Honestly, President Xi understood. He said, "Look, I understand," and the other countries, and they all understand. We're going to have to go through a little tough love, maybe, but they all understand. They're ripping us off, and they understood it. Prime Minister of Japan, Shinzo Abe. He was a fantastic man. He was unfortunately taken from us, assassinated.
I wonder how much they spent to make this plaque.
I said, Shinzo, we have to do something, and trade is not fair. He said, I know that. And he was a great
Well, that's exactly right, Ricardo. That's exactly right. Unfortunately,
he understood immediately.
The game he's playing is going to hurt a lot of people.
He said, I know that. And we worked out a deal, and it would have been a much better deal, but frankly, there were many years left on the deal that was made previous to my getting there, but it was something. If you look at Switzerland,
Brazil.
61% to 31%. Indonesia, Malaysia, Cambodia. Oh, look at Cambodia, 97%. We're going to bring it down to 49. They made a fortune with the United States of America. United Kingdom, 10%. And we'll go 10%.
Okay.
So we'll do the same thing. South Africa, 60%, 30. And they've got some bad things going on in South Africa.
Why do I have a feeling we're at the bottom of the list?
That we cut the funding because a lot of bad things are happening in South Africa. The fake news ought to be looking at it.
Of course, if we are, whoever is at the bottom only has
Brazil,
10%. So
10%. Bangladesh is 74%. So you see what's going on. Pakistan, 58%.
I know.
88%. So
and that's the thing, right, Cowboy? Once people stop buying U.S. products, they're losing a lot of money already.
How's he doing? All right? I think you better take it with you. It's not going to last very long.
Seriously?
He's going to put it. It's going to follow you down with the wind.
I just wanted to see Canada.
Just in case it got too windy. But here's, would anybody like a hat?
Oh,
I'm not giving it to a cabinet. I'm giving it to the auto workers.
Yes, but if tariffs are reciprocal, then it's fair. It depends.
Thank
I mean,
yeah, that's it.
You know, he's also looking at things. So, for example, with Canada, the digital, the digital tax. He's going to be looking at that as well. Apparently, factoring that in. So
disproportionate. They're so unfair.
All right.
At the same time, we will establish a minimum baseline tariff of 10%. You notice that on the chart, and that'll be on other countries to help rebuild our economy.
Well, there will be, absolutely.
So
like energy is not going above 10%. There's just no way. They need it. Also the potash, those ones we already know, they've already got exceptions, and we'll see more. I think once the auto tariffs get underway, I think he's going to have no choice. He's going to have to put in some exceptions just because of everything is so tightly interconnected in that sector. There's just no way you can do it. All right, Trump. I'm gonna pause Trump for the moment. Oh, turn the mic back to me. I had wanted to see what we were going to get for Canada, but unfortunately, maybe we weren't on that list. I am not sure, but we will find out. We will definitely find out. Ricardo says, just because one guy makes you bleed doesn't mean you should make them bleed, because then everyone is drained. Yeah, I see every point. Like, the reciprocal tariffs, like our reciprocal tariffs, for example, on the U.S. tariffs, technically they're hurting our own people because, but they're also having that, of course, that effect of hurting a lot of American companies that are innocent. Absolutely. I mean, that's the thing. Nobody wins in a trade war. It just, there's certain circumstances, I think, where, there are tariffs have a use, but this is not it. Blanket tariffs, I never really accomplish things. And you got to realize too, when Trump is looking, so for example, let's just talk a little bit about Canada's dairy. He mentioned that Canada is being so unfair with our dairy because of some of the crazy tariffs that we're hitting the U.S. with. Now, it's true. We actually do have some pretty big dairy tariffs, but they're all conditional, which basically means that they don't actually take effect unless our manufacturers or, our businesses import a whole bunch of dairy. So they have to hit a limit before they even take effect. And the reality is none of them have taken effect. So Americans have been getting, the American products coming in, dairy products have all been coming in tariff-free. But Trump, of course, probably when he's been looking at things like that, he'll look at it and he'll see, oh, look at this 240% tariff Canada's charging on us. It's like, well, okay, read beyond that, Donald. Read read the exception, the fact that you're being charged nothing until you hit a certain amount of amount, and it's quite a bit. It's not like a little amount, because as I said, none of our dairy products, like none of their dairy products, are hitting that point. So they're not getting charged a single thing. So when he says it's unfair, well, no, it's not. It's actually a really good deal. Anyway, let's see. Ricardo says, well, so much for the tech bounce. This will kill any rebound play. AA says he didn't mention Canada. Maybe there is no tariffs on Canada. Or maybe Canada gets its own plaque. I don't know. Maybe we get our own plaque. I don't know. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I would, of course, as Canadians, we want them to lead off with Canada, so we know what the banana bread is going on. But so far, we don't know. Now, let me just try something else here. Let's see here. The cars is tough because Magma builds so much. They built so many parts, and they were not allowed to buy Chrysler from Mercedes by U.S. monopoly laws. Yeah, I mean, and it's not just that. I mean, you got to look at the main key part of the car manufacturing. There's two cities. It's a city. It's basically Detroit and Windsor, Ontario, and you have products and car parts that are moving back and forth across that bridge. Like basically from one factory in Detroit, it's like 20 minutes to get it to the other factory over there in Windsor. And there's so much specialization on both sides that it becomes almost impossible to unentangle that whole industry. And that's not good. It's not good at all. The stream just crashed on you. Uh-oh. Well, hopefully you got it back. Hopefully it didn't crash on everybody. As far as I know, it's going good. It's going good. But yeah, holy banana bread. And speaking of streams, we are one super or membership. So yeah, like if you invite, like if you gift a membership, we count that as well when we're counting towards the another stream. So yeah, we're one away from a Friday stream, by the way. Okay, good. Let's see. Clear cache rebooted Firefox. It's good now. Yay! Good old Firefox. Boy. All right, let's take a gander. Let's jump over to BNN for a moment. I know they have they've got some live updates too, and maybe they've gotten something. Like it usually, at least this happens with everybody else who does a press conference. Normally the press gets a copy of it just as it's being released. So I don't know if we have any new information here, but let's just take a gander here. Let's see. So the US is to charge approximately half. Okay. But that doesn't, the entire list is not visible. It's see, look at that. They're complaining too that the list was not entirely visible. So nobody knows yet what's happening with Canada. That makes sense. All right. Now I did see earlier, let's see here. Gold climbs to near record ahead of the, this is not surprising. The gold part's not surprising. We were talking about that earlier. Gold is probably a safe place to go right now. So if you're looking for a piece of safety, something like, gosh, let's take a look. Let's actually take a look and see how they've done today. GLCC. Let's grab this over here. GLCC. Whoops. Let's actually spell it right. There we go. GLCC. This is the Global X Gold Producer Equity Covered Call ETF. Oh, they're actually down. I saw that. They are actually down a little bit, but all right, come on, give me my mouse back. Let's just take a look at the last month. In the last month, you can see that fear has been certainly pushing things. And if we have a big red day tomorrow, I would not be surprised to see some movement to the upside for like GLCC. So I am looking at that. I'm looking at that. Let's see. Rory says the Trump admin will look at Alberta with great interest should Carney win the election. There's a lot of rumors. For sure. But we'll have to see. I mean, it really going to boil down to, we still got We still got like 20. Okay, we don't quite have 28. So what are we at? 27, 26, 27 days. And, you know, anything can happen. Anything can happen with this. Now, mind you, and we haven't looked at this. We haven't looked at this today, but oh gosh, I'm almost afraid to go in there. Let's refresh. We'll refresh it. Let's see. He was at 41.2. Where's he at now? 43.5. So the trend, and keep in mind, don't ignore these numbers. Ignore these numbers. The big thing is just this trend right now. So, right now, what the conservatives are doing right now, they got a little bounce down there, but they need to reverse that trend. That's kind of that big thing to see how that's going to work. The NDP, oh boy, they're plunging. The Bloc Québécois, they're trending down. The Green Party's trending. Well, the People, the PPC, the People's Party of Canada, they seem to be flat a little bit, but we'll see. But here's the thing, and let's pull this up here. When we look at it provincially, let's look at Alberta. I mean, look at this. The Conservatives are way out in front, 56.8% of the vote. Also, Saskatchewan and Manitoba, 49.9%, but that's where it kind of ends. The Liberals, for them, Atlantic Canada right now is where they're really dominating, 56%. But yeah, I mean, you've still got that Western bloc, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, Alberta. So, and it's been a while. It's been a while since we've had a conservative government. So it is kind of, I will honestly say, let's see here. This surprised me a lot. Like even with Trudeau stepping down and Carney moving in, I really didn't think it was going to be this drastic, at least trend-wise. So, but keep in mind, there's lots of time. There's lots of time. All it takes is a good scandal to pop up along the way, and things can reverse. Things can absolutely reverse for sure. All right. Seabass, let's pull this back up, says, do you guys feel liberated yet? Not so much winning. I don't know. It's kind of funny. Let's see. Carnage Wins Alberta will be doing referendum in October with municipal elections. Yeah, maybe. I mean, it's hard to say. I don't know. I don't know what's going on, but if it were to happen, let's just go down the rabbit hole for a second. I would hate to see it happen. I think Alberta is they're kind of like, how America has its heartland. When you look at like Alberta, Saskatchewan, I mean, that's Canada's heartland. And I would definitely hate to see Canada without that area. So I hope it doesn't happen. I hope it doesn't happen for sure. All right. Rory says, let's see, even Danielle Smith was talking about that. Divorce lawyers on standby. If Alberta goes, gotta bring a little brother Saskatchewan along. There you go. Yeah, that's the whole thing. I mean, if we ever got to a point where we start losing provinces, oh boy, I would be worried. I would be worried for Canada as a whole. And this is not, and we're not even just talking about Alberta. Like if you go even back to, when Quebec was mulling over the whole separation. I mean, that to me is another important part of Canada. So I don't want to lose any of Canada. I love Canada. I love all the provinces. And I've lived on both coasts and I've lived in Alberta. I love this country. So I'm hoping that it never comes to that. AA says, let's see, Alberta is feeding Canada. If Alberta is gone, then good luck, Canada. By the way, I'm from Quebec. All right. It's kind of that thing. I mean, Alberta, I don't think it would be good for Canada. I don't think it would be good for Canada. And I would like to think that even if he wins, I would hope that we could come to some kind of a resolution that doesn't get to that point. Let's see. Rory says, then say hello to lots of Russian imports. Oh boy. Yeah. What can I say? What can I say? Oh boy. So anybody who's still watching Trump, has he gotten anywhere near giving us I'm going to refresh this because this here, they update this as it goes. I still don't know what Canada's getting. That's kind of the fun thing. Now we do know, one thing we do know for sure is that the items that were excluded, that were given the temporary reprieve, basically things that were covered by the free trade agreement, those things are supposed to come back tomorrow. So the 25% on a bunch of items that have been excluded for a month, they're supposed to come back tomorrow. So tomorrow could still be a very interesting day for sure. But so far, we got the list of most countries. Most countries. Oh gosh, who's the winner? Who is the winner here? Let's see. Oh boy, it looks, there's a 49 on Cambodia. Is that the highest? It looks like Cambodia. Whoops. Oh guys, sorry. I should be sharing the list. There we go. Yeah, let's see here. We got 49% on Cambodia. And yeah, Cambodia looks to be, yeah, they're getting the highest tariffs, it looks like. Cambodia, 49%. Yeah, Canada is not on that list at all. So there's the full list. Canada's not on it. What does that mean? Who knows? Hopefully, it'd be nice if what I'd love to see is that, he did mention in his call to Carney that whoever wins, he'll have a sit down with them after the election. Maybe there's no reciprocal, maybe he's going to hold off on reciprocal tariffs on Canada until then. Maybe. This is me guessing. This is just a maybe. I don't know. I mean, we probably aren't that lucky, but you never know. All right. Let's see. The property settlement will be national parks and military bases bought from Canada. Let's see. We need to build pipelines. There is no other way. All right. And poor Cambodia. I know, 49%. The UK, they got 10%. Are they the lowest? There's a few with 10. Colombia, Chile, Singapore, Brazil, United K. Yeah, those are 10% seems to be the lowest, but that's obviously not all the countries in the world. So it's a small list. So there's probably, maybe there's like a part 2 list that's coming out later in his conference. Oh, I don't know. It's kind of fun. So if the US puts tariffs on those countries in Asia, they may just turn more towards China. Yeah, why wouldn't you? That's the whole thing. If China has the same products, maybe that's the alternative. But holy cow, what can I say? Oh, I don't know. All right, guys, we are, we're not at the end yet, but we're heading towards the end. So if you got your final questions, let's bring them on in, and we'll, like I said,
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
There goes Alexa once again, but that's fine. I always find it. I kept thinking about, I thought about unplugging her, but then every so often I'm like, it's kind of funny when she replies out of the blue for no reason. So I decided not to, but anyway, that's kind of a cool thing. And also, guys, we are one super away from a Friday stream. So there is that as well. Just bringing that up. All right, guys, I'm going to check this out one more time. See if we get any more information over here. And bring this up here as I do it. So yeah, so right now, let's see. Sweeping new tariffs. Trump holds up chart. There we go. That's just what we need. Let's see here. Oh, no. Okay, so this one is more or less just the same kind of things. 34% on China, 20% on European Union. Oh, well, that covers everybody there. That's the whole EU. 25% on South Korea, 24% on Japan, 32 on Taiwan. Okay. That still does not give us, doesn't give us Canada. It doesn't give us Canada yet. So what's going on? AA says it's not that simple. China is not a fair player. It bullies smaller countries. China is way worse than the US, even with the tariff. Yeah, I mean, China is kind of that interesting thing. Like, that's the whole thing. Like, China offered Canada an opportunity for free trade, but though that offer came with a bunch of it came with a really big a big caveat, and that is that for Canada to get free trade with China, we had to remove our restrictions on Chinese investment. And yeah, that's not good, not good. So obviously that's not going to happen. And I think both Polyev and Carney have been sort of try to reiterate to Trump that, we shouldn't be fighting each other. We should be helping each other so that we can stand up against, China. But so far, no. Will Canada be adding tariffs against China to respond to the canola? Well, the canola is actually a retaliation tariff. So the reason they struck that is because last year, we sort of followed suit with the US and we put a 100% tariff on Chinese EV vehicles. So we've known that this retaliation was coming, but that's what that was. So we're probably not going to retaliate against that because we knew it was coming. We knew it was going to be a hit that we were going to take. All right, and another tariff has dropped from the banana bread company, and they keep their goat. They're still the goat. There we go. Thank you, Banana Bread Company. And that, of course, guys, is number 4. That means we have a stream on a Friday, so we will be back here to we can sift through the wreckage of tomorrow and see what's left. See what deals are out there, what good deals are out there. But yeah, like today, holy cow! Like, just take a look. Even though we had a nice green day, if you look at somebody like, here we are, Bell. Let's look at Bell's day here. All right, whoops, pull that back up here. All right, here's Bell's day. It's like it's like a major drop off. Look at that. At one point they were down to like 30. What is that? Oh, they had a low of $30.98. So that's quite a day for Bell. That's quite a day. And we're definitely going to see more tomorrow. I don't know. It's going to be fun. Let's see. And we don't build EV yet. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Banana. Yeah, thank you, Banana Bread Company. I love Banana Bread Company is one of our bestest folks who's always in here dropping the supers. Love it. Rory says toboggan down that's if you want a toboggan down that hill, Rory, you need a crash helmet. And maybe good medic. Well, I guess we're in Canada. They'll fix your broken leg for you at the bottom. But what can I say? What do you think is a better deal? Bell for its dividends, so investing in Air Canada at 14 and waiting for it to hike to about 22. Okay, so here's the thing. So yeah, with Bell, of course, you're going to get some good dividends. Fantastic. Air Canada, you're not going to get those dividends. But, and here's the thing, what you would want to do in a situation like this is you have to kind of look at right now with this. So let's just say Bell doesn't recover and it just stays low. You'll still be getting that 12.228% return with your dividends. So you're still getting about 12%. But if over that same period of time, we do get some recovery in Air Canada and Air Canada makes it back up to say 22, you're looking at about a 27, maybe even higher, depending on what your adjusted cost base is. But you could be looking at a good 27% return. So in that sense, I think, honestly, I think with Air Canada, total return wise at the end, I think you'll make more. I think you'll make more with Air Canada than you're going to make with Bell. Bell, you will get some of it all the way through, right? But now, mind you, if Bell were to fully recover and all of a sudden did fly back up, then that would be a different story. But right now, so far, Bell doesn't look to be doing anything, anything very good. They seem to be on a slow slope. So when we look at Air Canada, I'll just give you an example here. Now this is going to be a spoiler alert because this is in the video. So I'm just gonna let's just pull the one. I'm gonna pull up the 1 year. So the last Air Canada swing that I did, I was buying down in here. And that time I had a plan to sell at 20. I was going 16 to 20. I wasn't being greedy. But I was buying down here and it exploded. I ended up selling at around 21. So I ended up like the actual return on investment, and this was only for just a couple of months, worked out to about 27%. So I think it was 27.14 if I remember correctly. But yeah, it worked out really, really well. Now with this new plan, I'm going to be buying under 16. So anytime it's under 17, I'm going to buy. So under 17, and I'm planning to take it at least to 22. Now, mind you, when it gets to 22, so let's just say that this was the recovery. Let's just say it duplicated this recovery. Well, when it got to 22, what I would then do is I wouldn't sell it, but I would basically keep a stop loss on it. So, when it's up here at 23, I would be, that'd be, okay, cool, fine. I got a stop loss. So if it fell to 22, and if it got up to 24, I would readjust my stop loss to 23. So basically it would be kind of like a manual version of a trailing stop loss. And, that way there, that will be a nice move. Now, right now, of course, I think my adjusted cost base will probably be lower in the long term when I get there because, right now we're getting some really good prices. Like, look at this, 1434. That's crazy. And it may go lower. It may go lower tomorrow. Like tomorrow, you might be able to get it under 14. Who knows? Maybe. That would be incredible. Now, this is kind of one of these neat things. Like this company, one of the things a lot of people don't realize is they actually do have a pretty deep moat. Most people will overlook it. Most people look at it, they see the debt because they have a lot of debt. They had to take on a lot of debt through the pandemic, and they'll probably have to take on more debt over the next little bit too. But when you look at their cash and cash equivalents, oh boy, it's they've got a lot. It's something like, I'm trying to remember the exact number, like I think 5 billion maybe. But they have a lot. Like if they took their cash and cash equivalents and applied it to their debt, they could more than wipe out half of their debt. It's good. It's really good. So just something to keep in mind. All right. Let's pull me back here. And Rory's saying, don't rely on BCE for its dividends. Yeah. And that's the other danger too with BCE is, there's always that possibility that they could have to cut it. I mean, it would make sense for them to cut it. Not to say they're going to, but it is a danger. It is a danger. Air Canada, because there's no dividends, you don't have to worry about that. And you got to keep in mind, there's another little thing that people forget with Air Canada. At their last earnings call, they announced a 10%. They're going to buy back up to 10% of their shares. So when you buy back shares, that inflates the price. It does, because it's all part of the formula, right? To calculate the share price, you basically take the market cap, you divide it by the number of outstanding shares. If you decrease the number of outstanding shares by 10%, well, that equates to 10% coming off, of the price going up. Now, mind you, even though it's math, sometimes when that's happening, there are other factors that are causing the price to be moving one direction or not, but it does create upward pressure. So there is that as well. So that's another reason that I'm very gun ho when it comes to the swing trade. Now, mind you, guys, just because I'm doing the swing trade, do your own diligence, right? Don't just jump in blindly and say, "Oh, Candace is doing that, so I'm going to do it too." You want to make sure that it makes sense for you, your own risks. That's why it's always important to do your due diligence, especially if a YouTuber is telling you to, saying, "Oh, this is the greatest thing since sliced cheese." Well, maybe it's not. It might be to them, but it may not be to you. So you always want to do that. Moonlight says, "I feel bad for their employees holding all that stock." Well, an interesting thing, and more spoiler alert, but I was looking at Air Canada. Oh, sorry, you're probably talking about Bell, but anyway, I'm going to talk about Air Canada. They actually they had a whole bunch of insider buying. So they've had no insider selling. So they're insiders when it comes to Bell, when it comes to Air Canada, they're buying. They have they have a lot of confidence in their company. So like I said, I'm liking it. And here's the thing. This time around, I'm hoping it's not like last time, it quite literally, my swing trade lasted a few months. And then all of a sudden it was like, no, they exploded. I'm hoping this time I get more time to buy. I would love to see their price under $17 for a year. I would love it. That would be fantastic. And then that would be, I could really build it up. I mean, of course, they also helped me get a little bit over diversified into industrial, but I'm okay with that. I'm absolutely okay with that. Cowboy says, "Can't see BCE staying on that dividend. Something's got to give." Yeah, and that would make sense. Moonlight says, "Nice on that previous swing trade." Yeah, and I know there's a couple people in the community who followed me on that, and they made some half decent money on that last one. So nothing too wrong with that for sure. AA says, "I was too greedy with Air Canada, waited too long, ended up in the red, learned my lesson." Well, the nice thing is with Air Canada is it's very cyclic. So, if you went into the red because you waited too long, you're going to be fine. You're going to be fine you'll have to wait longer, but you'll definitely be fine. Just don't sell. Rory says, "I never did buy Air Canada, but now I'm looking at it not as an investment, but as a swing." Yeah, and that's the way I'm looking at it too. Now, mind you, if you are a long-term investor, getting in at $14, especially if you've got like a 10, 15-year investment window, it's a no-brainer. That is a no-brainer. It'll grow. Throw it in your TFSA. It'll create a lot of space for you, so that when you do get closer to retirement and you start looking at perhaps at retirement, maybe you're going to convert over to an income portfolio. Well, that'll be a lot of extra space that you can convert into income. So that's not too shabby at all. So I do like that. All right, I'm going to bring this back. I'm going to go over and just see if we got anything else from this press conference. Holy banana bread. Let's see. Okay. Well, I guess this is probably going to count to us. Let's see. Trump announces a baseline 10% tariff on all trading partners. Well, we're a trading partner. All right. So that is in addition to higher tariffs on a series of individual countries and a 25% levy on all foreign-made automobiles. Okay. Let's see. He did not say whether the auto tariff will grant any exemption for vehicles made in Canada or elsewhere in North America. Okay. So it looks like I'm going to assume that it means that we're going to get at least a 10% if he's talking about a baseline. Although he's not being very forthcoming. All right. Rocco is saying stocks are going to be on fire tomorrow. Yeah, I'm anticipating a red day tomorrow. I think it's going to be red. Oh, Rory, Canada's not on the list because he's planning an invasion. Don't, whatever you do, Rory, don't post that on Truth Social. It'll give him ideas. So we don't need ideas. Oh boy. Oh boy. All right. Oh guys. Oh, this has been fun. This has been fun. I do love these. I am going to be back, of course, on Friday. We'll do this all over again. It's going to be awesome. We do have, like I said, the Air Canada swing trade video. That is going to be out tomorrow for the channel members, but Friday for everybody else. Yeah. So until then, guys. Oh, I gotta be big. I can't leave. I can't leave if I'm in small. If I'm in small mode. So big mode for the big finale. The big finale. It's like I should almost have a fireworks emote just to, do that. But yeah. So everybody, couple of words of advice for tomorrow. You know what? Buying the dip, yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. But whatever happens when things start going red, don't give in to fear, uncertainty, doubt. Don't panic sell tomorrow. Things will be okay in the long term. But tomorrow will be fun to watch nonetheless. All right, guys, you guys rock. We will be back here on Friday. We'll do this all over again. And of course, don't forget to put on your calendar the live stream on Sunday this week. Hour into it, we're going to do that merch giveaway. So until then, everybody, take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye, everybody.